Hey, it's his sister Roland. All I need is a few minutes.
A manager at the Taco Bell on 23 Mile in Chesterfield Township. Louis's big heart apparent when he noticed one of his employees was coming into work with wet clothes. Dejon Drake admitted to being homeless, and Louis, being Louis, offered to let him stay with him at his apartment, less than a mile down the road from the Taco Bell.
He had a good sense of humor. He was a big brother. He's a younger brother.
But a short time after the employee started staying with Louis, his behavior became combative towards his coworkers and towards Louis, according to Louis's mother. Louis told Dejon he could no longer stay with him at his apartment. It was Saturday, July 29th.
That's when the fight broke out. The dude didn't want to leave. He just refused to leave. He pushed Louis, and Louis fought back and beat him up, and so he shot him.
Louis Stafford, just 27 years old, died at a nearby hospital.
I would never understand the universe and how God chooses who leaves and how they leave.
Police arrested 24-year-old Dejon Drake on the scene. He's being held at the Macomb County Jail on a $2 million bond.
I mean, to me, Dejon's face says that you shouldn't have taken him in. You know, it is a mugshot. He probably didn't look like have that, facial expression, but still, you can tell that this is not somebody that you should have, felt sorry for, in my opinion. And also with the mother saying that, she'll never understand how God chooses for certain people to leave this earth. One thing, if we don't grasp or understand free will, we will have a hard time serving God. We'll have a hard time understanding why certain things happen to certain people, because this is a case of free will. This is a case of free will. Remember, God gives everybody free will. You get to decide to do whatever you want to do. However, there are consequences. This is a young man that decided, not only they told him to leave the house, the home, he refused. And then he proceeded to fight with the person that took him in. Of course, he probably didn't want to leave because he had nowhere to go. And living on the streets is not easy. That's not an easy thing to go. But if you knew living on the street was not easy, shouldn't you have, do what you're supposed to do so that you don't bring attention to yourself, so that the person could allow you to stay there until you are able to get on your feet? No. Obviously, he was engaging in behavior that the people didn't want him in their home anymore. They told him to leave. He refused to leave. He proceeded to start a fight. He lost the fight, and that's probably, and his ego got hurt because somebody like Louis wasn't supposed to, get the best of him, but Louis got the best of him, and he decided to take this young man's life out. And now he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. Well, I guess he doesn't have a problem with that because, now he'll actually have some place to stay. People would say, like, even in the time that we're living, you need to be careful who you help and stuff. I think this has been like this for years, for a very long time. You have to be careful who you help. Even more, of course, in the time that we're living, because the days are evil, as the Bible says. And if you watch the news, certain news clips, especially when people, are being taken out in stories like this, in situations like this, notice, yes, there are people, that people may think that deserve to be taken out, and people don't care if they leave. But a lot of the times, listen to the news story. They are talking about these people that are being taken out. What they say, oh, they were the life of the party. Oh, they'll give you the shirt on their back. People always say that, but technically, these people are like a light in the world, right? They are light in the world. And these are the people that are being taken out because it's like the enemy, the devil is using people that are open to take out light so that more evil stays in the world and overtakes the world. So he's snuffing out the light. And this is why it's so important. You have to use discernment when helping people. Certain people are modern day Cains. God marked them because they did stuff in life. They made decisions in life. They disrespected somebody, a certain somebody, and they were cursed. They did something very evil, and God cursed them and marked them so that people could know, hey, stay away from this person. Don't help them out. Because there are certain people that are going through certain stuff. It's because of what they did in their life, the things that the seeds that they sowed in life, and now they are reaping. And here you come. You don't know the whole story, and you come here to help without asking, whether without praying, if you pray to God, or without asking advice from certain people that may be older or maybe more knowledgeable, and you go out and help because you feel sorry for them. Be careful feeling sorry for certain people, because most of the time the person who you may feel sorry for, that may be the person that may take you out, that may be so ungrateful and make you regret that you even helped them. Because a lot of these young people nowadays, they are unfortunately cursed. Why? Because some of them are not being raised. Some of them, long time we had mothers praying for us, we had grandmothers praying for us, we had our aunties praying for us. Some many households had fathers and stuff like that. All of those things cover you spiritually, cover you spiritually. That's why you could see certain people, they do all kind of stuff and stuff like that. They still getting blessed. They still nothing happens to them, because sometimes there's a prayer that was set for them years ago that's still covering them till this day. But now we have parents not being parents. We have people in their hot girl summer mode all year long, so these kids are not being covered. So these kids getting in certain stuff, they disrespecting adults. Remember, when I was growing up, you respected everybody, whether it was your family or not, because certain people do not have to go do witchcraft on you or do something bad. They could just pronounce something over your life, and it happens, and it comes to fruition, especially if you don't have any prayers to block it. This is why it's so important to have that relationship with God, because these stuff may even cover generations. So some of these kids are getting into certain stuff, they opening curses onto their lives, and then they are seeing the fruit. And here you come, you don't know the whole story. You come to help, and then you end up, because you come to help because you have a good heart. And that is how the enemy is using to get you out of this world, because he don't want any light, he don't want any good, and he in this world. And unfortunately, this is what happened to this young man. Try to help this young man, when this young man seems to be a modern day Cain. Some people are Cains. Some people may be Eleazar. Eleazar was a stranger to Abraham. He took him in, and he became a son to Eleazar. Became a son to Eleazar. So much so that Abraham was thinking, because he didn't have an ear, he was going to give everything that he had to Eleazar. But God said, you know what? No, I have an ear for you. You don't need to do that. But that's how Eleazar became an asset to Abraham after taking him in. Some people you take in, that's supposed to be taken in, they should be an asset to you. This young man, he took him in. He said it didn't take too long for him to show his true colors. But it was always there. But we just didn't see, because remember, we like his mother say, he was in the news story, he was an emotional person. So he was watching this young man. He saw the man was coming in with wet clothing and stuff like that. And especially when the enemy come in and try to take you out, it's like a manipulative thing try to do certain stuff, tell you certain stories to appeal to your emotions so you can make a decision based upon emotion. And any decision based upon emotions, if you look back and you look in your life, every decisions you have made and is based on emotion, you have always paid a price for that decision, right? You have always paid a price for that decision. And unfortunately, this young man, he lost his life because of the decision that he's made. But it's not only him. This young man decided his ego was hurt. Let's say that his ego was hurt because this young man whooped him, and he decided to take his life. And this is very unfortunate. So, and this is one of the reasons why I always used to tell my kids, because they would always ask me, "Oh, mommy, why you give certain homeless people money and you don't give this other person?" And I said, I didn't feel led to do it, and they would always laugh at me. But then now, after we have done a lot of work with the homeless, now they understand why I say certain things like that. Some stuff you have to be led by discernment. You have to, especially in the time that we're living in when the enemy is trying to take out light out of this world. You cannot, you cannot move upon emotion. You cannot move because you feel sorry for the person. Sometimes, when you find out a person going through certain stuff, you have to grill them literally. Well, if they don't want to ask no question, that already telling they don't need your help. But some you, okay, how did you get in this? What did you do? Well, you don't have any family. What is your relationship with your family? Sometimes you have to ask certain questions, especially if you're thinking about supporting them monthly. Open up your home to them. Vouching for them so they could get a job. Putting them on your credit. You have to be very careful. You have to be. You have to be very careful. Unfortunately, what I'm saying is not going to be able to help Louis, but if you are a person, some people, that's how you are. You can't change the way you are, but you just need to just move with more a lot of wisdom and discernment in the time that we're living. And if you are the type of person, you don't like to see people suffering, you always want to help people and different things like that. When you see certain stuff, because when you're a type of person, you see stuff that people don't see. You see people suffering, you see people in need, you see that because that's who you are, that's how your heart is. But before you go and act and go out and help, if you have a relationship with God, right then and there, you go in prayer. You don't have to be on your knees and think I'm right and pray in your heart, Lord, what do I do? What do you want me to do? What would you have me to do? If you're not a person that believes in God, talk to somebody. Hey, mama, I see. I was walking this place, certain such and such, and I saw my high school friend. We used to go to school together. I saw this person that I know or whatever. Hey, best friend, you know, somebody. Talk to somebody because sometimes God could use a person of reason to say, um, where did you see them? Take it, ask you before you go and ask, because sometimes that could unfortunately cost you your life. And yeah, we losing a whole lot of people, a whole lot of good people. And that is when people say, "Oh, why God letting all the good people, while the good people lose their lives, and then all the wicked people stay?" Some stuff has to do, not a lot of things has to do with free will. The person chooses to do that, and God says that he gives there's evil and good in front of you. He wants you to choose good, but sometimes some people choose evil. God is not gonna impose and say, "No, you better choose good." It's not gonna happen. He gives you free will. He gives you free will. But then in the event that, hey, that person decides to, hey, I'm gonna take somebody out today. That's why you have to have discernment. You have to have discernment and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I should don't go anywhere today. Maybe I shouldn't help this person. You have to exercise discernment. You cannot be making decisions on emotions. So anyway, that's all I had to say about the situation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another one. Bye.